We begin in Taiwan, which has been hit by the strongest earthquake there in 25 years. The magnitude 7.2 quake struck off the east coast, causing power cuts and buildings to collapse. 4 people have died and dozens are injured. Tsunami warnings were issued for coastal areas in Japan and the Philippines, but they've since been lifted. For the people of Taiwan, it was one of the worst tremors they've experienced in years.
It was shaking very violently. All the motorcycles outside our house toppled over, so I quickly switched off the gas and the electrical source and opened the main door.
It was very strong. It felt as if the house was going to topple.
When I realized it was an earthquake, I quickly put on my clothes and shoes. Then I dragged the kid with me and ran down the stairs.
Well, Divya Gopalan is a senior editor at the news outlet Taiwan Plus. She joins us live now from Taipei. What's the very latest you can tell us?
Hi, Carrie. Well, there have been at least 58 aftershocks since that 7.2 magnitude quake early this morning. Now, 2 of which of those aftershocks were larger than 6 on the Richter scale, and that's quite unusual. The official death toll is now at 4, with at least 57 people injured, mostly from falling objects. Now, here in the capital, Taipei, it has been mostly disruptions to transport and some daily life activities, but things are just getting back to normal. Most of the damage was in Hualien, which is a county on the east coast, and that's where the epicenter of the earthquake was. Now, Hualien is known for its tourist sites, for its tourist scenic spots, but also for having one of the largest military bases. And the military is now checking all its equipment there, and there is concern that some of that may be damaged. Also in Hualien, about 80,000 homes are now without power. Roads, bridges, and even a tunnel has collapsed. So there's quite a lot of disruption there. And the military has sent enforcement and support for the first responders unit, trying to get them to some of those most affected areas, which is now difficult to get to. There are also a number of landslides, but fortunately, most of the areas where those are quite sparsely populated, but the damage is quite extreme, with a large number of buildings tilting at this point and being very closely monitored to see if there will be further collapses, Carrie.
And Divya, we understand the president is at the command control centre. There have been some concerns, haven't there, about warning systems?
That's right. Usually people get a warning before there is an earthquake, and that is critical in many areas and industries here, who, even though the warning may be a few minutes or a few seconds before, but that gives them a bit of preparation time. But this time they didn't get that because the earthquake center did not see or did not predict that this earthquake would be as large as it is. So the president is at the Central Emergency Operations Center, which is usually pulled together during an emergency and such as this, where they're expecting far more aftershocks in the coming days, and some of them up to 6.5 or even 7. So there's a lot of concern that people should be prepared. Now, Taiwan in general has drills, and they're used to this kind of seismic activity, not to this extent necessarily, but they are used to drills. Schools, offices, and other institutions have their protocols in place. The president, Tsai Ing-wen, is here for another few weeks, and so this is being seen as one of the biggest tests before she hands over power to her vice president in May, who will then take over. But this is a situation that they're taking very seriously.
Divya Gopalan in Taipei, thank you.